What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm be bringing you another BT7 deck. Today we have Gabumon updated with the new blue hybrid package. Now, this is a deck, obviously, I played a lot last format, and I feel very confident with it. And with the confidence, I feel very confident that it's still going to be good in this format, because Bond of Friendship is very strong. The Gabumons paired up with the Mats is also just a very strong value engine. And now we have the new hybrids, which are very strong themselves. So we had the hybrids in this deck the last format, which were already very strong with the Lobos and the Kendos. And now it's going to get only stronger because now we have better hybrids, we have a better hybrid package, and other cards that we can put into the deck to really kind of up the strength and consistency of the deck. And so this is definitely still going to be a very viable deck in the format. It's also something where if you played last format, this is probably a more affordable deck for you to get into because you probably already have a lot of the cards. And even if you don't have a lot of the cards, this deck is relatively cheap outside of maybe like these Upamons and the Davis, but other than that, you're going to be able to get most of it for cheap. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into this list. So to start off, we're going to start with our Digitama, of course. We are playing the 4 Upamon and the 1 Kiaromon. Now here, you could just play the 4 eggs if you want, either the 4 Upa or the 4 Kiara, whichever you want. But with Yellow Hybrid, making games go for so long, I really do like the 5 eggs in this format. And I do like Upamon because in the Bond of Friendship deck, you have some other champions that you're going to see that are a little bit beefier, are going to be able to get this effect to activate more often, as to where with the other blue hybrid list that I played in the past, I like the Kiaromons a lot more because you're going to be able to trash a lot more. There was much more focused on trashing, and this deck is much more focused on attacking, and so you're going to just get more value off of getting Upamon and potentially getting that draw, and then your Digimon probably goes down, as to where with Kiaromon you kind of just want to sit there and chill. And so it doesn't work as well with this list as it does with the other list, but I don't think the eggs with this much are going to matter as much. You just want to be able to get that extra draw and get that extra consistency. Next up, we're going to start off with the rookies, and of course we're going to be having some Gabumons in our Bond of Friendship deck. So we're going to start off with the 4 EX1 Gabu. This card is just absolutely insane value tool. We're going to be able to hit so many Tamers off of this, or you can search your Gabumons. It's just a very good consistency card, especially when you pair it with the amazing champions that we have in this list. It's just, this card is a pretty solid 4 of. Then we got 4 of the BT6 Gabumon. Now, you could play this at 3 if you wanted to, just because this deck isn't as focused around Bond of Friendship, because we have the blue hybrid package, which can be its own strong package in itself. So you could just play this down to 3, but it just helps with being able to get your mats out for cheaper, or if you have this on the board and a mat comes out of security, it can be some memory gain, and it's just overall going to make it so you have a higher consistency getting that Gabumon inheritable, that extra swing. But like I said, it's kind of personal preference. You could play this at 3 instead of 4, but I have it at 4, and instead I have 3 of the draw Gabumon here. Now, this is a card that's just generally a good draw card. It's good cycle. I am only playing 3, so that way I could go up in some of the other rookies that we're about to talk about, but this is a Gabumon. The fact that it has Gabumon in its name is going to just be very powerful in this deck, and drawing is very good, as we know, with the draw Gabu. But you could play this at 4 if you want, by either going down to 3 of the BT6 Gabu, or you could cut down in one of the rookies we're about to talk about. But I am just playing the 11 Gabumon because this is a fairly good number to go forward with, and you're still going to be able to hit the Gabumons pretty consistently, especially with the 4 EX1 Gabus, so you don't really need to play a lot more. You definitely don't really want to be playing the Tamer Searcher Gabumon. It's just not that good. And the starter deck Gabumon is only really good in the last format because we needed to up our Gabumon count, as to where here we don't need as high as a Gabumon count because of the blue hybrid being such a strong package that we can just kind of let that package be strong in itself, invest some more cards in that, and invest a little bit lower in the Gabumons. But this is just a very good 11 card Gabumon base for the package. Now, to finish off the rookies, we're going to be having 2 of the Strabimon and 2 of the Siakomon. Now, these cards are just fairly good in the metagame right now. Strabimon, we have so many hybrids and tamers that you're going to be able to hit off of this. You could put this higher if you want to, but I prioritized having the draw Gabu more because you still get to draw a card, you still get value into your hand while it also says Gabumon, which is really good, obviously, for Mat and Bond of Friendship. So you could go up in this if you wanted to, but I decided to play Siakomon too because it's just really good in the metagame. Being able to stop your opponent from reducing Digivolution costs is going to help with things like Jet Sylphimon, Hercule Kabuterimon, stuff like that. It's just generally very powerful in the metagame, and so I wanted to make sure that I put this in the deck. Just a very good tech. Now, getting into the champions, of course, we're going to have our hybrids. We have 4 of the Korikakumon, 4 of the Kumamon, and 1 Lobomon. Now, these 8 are fairly standard. The Korikakumon just works so well, being able to stop your opponent from being able to attack or block with one of their Digimon. You pair it with Tommy, it gets even stronger. Kumamon, just a very strong Digimon hybrid here, being able to trash one of your opponent's sources. and while also being able to get that swing in. So I just really like these hybrids. And then I'm playing the one Lobomon because I didn't really like it at 8. I wanted to bump it up, and so I was kind of in between if I wanted to play the new Kendo Garurumon or if I wanted to play this Lobomon. I decided for this Lobomon, honestly, just because it's full art and because it looks a little bit cooler. I don't really think it matters what other hybrid you put here. It's mostly just to up the count of hybrids and make sure that it's 2 to Digivolve. The other reason why Lobomon's a little bit good is because it is 2 to Digivolve on top of a rookie, as to where Kendo, the new Kendo, is only 2 to Digivolve on top of a tamer and 3 to Digivolve on top of a rookie. And we do have a couple ultimates in the list, so sometimes building up with this Lobomon is going to be a little bit better. But you can really make this hybrid whatever you want. I mostly just chose this Lobomon because it looks cooler, but I do like that this is the hybrid number that we're at. Then to finish off the champions, we are playing a couple Octomon. Now, still love an Octomon in this metagame because a lot of the hybrids themselves are 6k or lower, plus there's a lot more rookies in the metagame, things like Bokomon and option cards, and it just works so well with the EX1 Gabumon here, being able to get value that EX1 Gabumon just makes Octomon so good, and so that's kind of what I was alluding to when we have a little bit beefier of a champion lineup. The Octomon just can survive 2, 3, 4 checks, or just stay on the board, be able to keep getting value, and so I do like it here. You could potentially cut these out for more hybrids if you want to, but I do like the Octomons just because they synergize so well with the EX1 Gabu, and they just are really well placed as far DP wise in the current metagame. Then, to get into the ultimates, we are just playing 2 Beowulfmon. Nothing too crazy here. I was testing 3 for a little bit, but it did feel a little bit clunky. This is just to build up. You can go on top of your Korikakumon to swing, bounce it back, get more value out of it. I did just like this as a general value card, and it's able to be searched out with things like Strabimon, so it is pretty decent. It's probably a little bit weaker in a list like this, other than compared to other blue hybrid lists, where normally they're playing 3 or 4 of these because you just keep bouncing back the hybrids. But since we do have the Bond of Friendship package, the full focus isn't on the hybrid, so we don't need this as much, but it's still just such a powerful card that if you do get one of your hybrids out and you just want to build up, you can put this on top. Next turn you can swing, bounce your hybrid back, bounce one of your opponent's Digimon back, and it's just very good value. Then we got the boss monster himself, Bond of Friendship. Just playing 3 here. I played 3 in my Nationals list last format too, just because you don't really ever need 4, especially with the EX1 Gabumon. And then going into this metagame now, where we aren't focusing fully on Bond, and we also are having the hybrid package, you definitely don't need 4, so the 3 is just going to be perfect here. 4, you're going to clunk it too much. You're never going into more than maybe 1 of these in a game. Last format, you could potentially go into 2, but this format, you're probably going into 1 maximum, so playing 4 is going to basically guarantee that you're going to have 1 or more of them dead in your hand. So just playing 3 for here, it's a fairly consistent number without having to be too clunky, and I just played this for Nationals. I really liked it, and I don't really second guess having 3. You should definitely be playing 3, especially in this format. Now to get into the Tamers, we're going to be having 4 mat. Nothing really to say here. It is Bond of Friendship deck. Our whole base is essentially Gabumon outside of a couple rookies, so we're going to be able to get great value out of here with the draw, gain 1, and be able to go up to Bond of Friendship to either clear board, go for game, whatever. We played this last format. We know the power of mat. Then we got 3 Davis. Davis is just going to be our memory tamer, going to be able to search out. It's really good. You could play this at 4, but we are playing a decent amount of tamers in this list, and so I didn't really see a reason to go up to 4 because there is already good amount of search in this list with the Strabis and the EX1 Gabu, so playing multiple Davis doesn't really mean too much unless you want to Digivolve on top of one of them with a hybrid, so 3 of them is just a fine consistency number. And then we're playing 3 Tommy. Tommy is just so good, especially with the Korikakumon. If you're playing the Korikakumon package, you can very easily fit Tommy in, and inheritables are very powerful in the current metagame, especially with the hybrids that, or the tamers that have inheritables, like Tommy himself. Being able to strip that is so good, and then you can pair it up with the Korikakumon, or you can just Digivolve anything on top of it, one of your hybrids, so that way you can make it so one of your opponents can attack or block. So it's it really does supplement the Ice Wall missing from last format, being able to slow down your opponent with this effect, while also being able to slow down the amazing inheritables that we have in this current metagame. And then to finish it off, we are playing the 2 Sorajo. Sorajo is just really good in being able to gain you memory. There are going to be a lot of times where people hard play things like Bokomon, so you can get memory off of this, but it's mostly just there because you're playing the Tommies, you're playing the Kumamons, you're going to strip, you're going to be able to tap this to be able to strip sources, and it's just a good tamer. I would prefer playing 2 of these than a 4th this or 4th this, because they are just all very good, these tamers in themselves, but they all do very different things. So I was kind of testing around the ratio ratios here, this is where I really like it. The 4 mats is just kind of the best tamer, so you want 4. The memory tamer at 3 is very good because you're also going to be gaining memory off the Sorajos here, and then Tommy is just a card that should have been hit on the restricted list, but for some reason wasn't. It's just very, very good. So that is our tamer lineup right. Now, let's go ahead and finish off the list with our option cards. We're going to start off with our 3 Howling Memory Boost. This card is just very powerful. Still, you're going to be able to strip sources, make it so your opponent can't attack or block. It's mainly here because I want the delay effect to gain memory later. The Hammer Spark is still strong, but I'm not playing as many Hammer Sparks because I don't find it to be as powerful. When I want my memory gain, I want it to be a little bit more impactful, so being able to play this to strip sources and then stop something from attacking or blocking and then later delaying is just so good. And this is just a fairly strong card that works well with the Gabumon and stuff because you can strip sources, make it so they can't attack or block this turn, then next turn Digivolve, and then use the effect with Gabumon or use the effect with Tommy to make it so it can't attack or block again. Just very synergistic, but mostly it's just a very strong memory gain card. And then I do have 2 Hammer Sparks. I'm not playing the full 4 because I don't feel like it's as strong this format. I feel like being able to gain memory by playing things like Sorajo is going to be a little bit more impactful because it is a tamer that we can do things on top of while also gaining memory. Plus we have the Davis, and I just like the Howling Memory Boost a little bit more, but I did play the 2 Hammer Sparks because it is kind of safety and security sometimes. It does let you expend your turns, so that way you can do more, but the main reason is we don't have 4 Ice Wall anymore. As much as I wish that I could put 4 more Ice Wall in this deck, I can't, so having this security effect is very powerful. It's a nice kind of safety and security while also being a card that's never really going to be dead in your hand, and so I just kind of decided to play it at 2. I was playing it at 0 for a little bit, but very much decided that I wanted to play it at 1 or 2, so now I'm testing it at 2, and I think it's fine there. Then to finish it off, we're playing 1 Ice Wall and 1 Rattlestar. Now, 1 Ice Wall just because we can't play 4 anymore, so we're just going to play the 1 that we can. And then 1 Rattlestar, mostly for Red Hybrid and Green Hybrid, or Blue Hybrid, sorry, Red Hybrid and Blue Hybrid, because if they go into their, like, Beowulfmon or their Aldemon, you can go ahead and bounce it back, or it's just generally a good removal card in this format. I liked Cocytus in the last format because there was a lot bigger things with like security control and Bond of Friendships and Jesmons going around, but this format there's a lot more things that are champions and ultimates going around, and so it's a cheaper removal, and then it has the upside of if your opponent has 3 or more Digimon on the board, you can just bottom deck anything, so it's kind of versatile. I like it more than the Cocytus in this format just because Cocytus is kind of a big commitment, but that is going to finish off this list here. Now, like I said, this is a list that's definitely going to still be strong in the current metagame. It can really just go in very quickly, especially with the new hybrids. You can go Bond and you can go hybrids, or now you can go hybrids and then go to Bond, because now your hybrids kind of stall out your opponent, give you more time to go into your Bond, and just all that. It's just very, very good, and this is definitely a deck that if you played it last format, I would definitely recommend trying it again in this format because it's still very strong. You're probably going to have most of the cards to be able to build it already, so it's not going to be a big cost investment to get this deck built, and you're going to be able to have a good deck that you could show up to a tournament with and have a good chance of winning. But with that being said, this is going to be this list. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe because I'm going to be bringing you even more BT7 content. But with that being said, I'll catch you all next time. Peace out.